We're talking about funding. These are really impressive numbers. My background has been with Techstars, and these numbers are extremely impressive. One of our advisory board members said that these are even Y Combinator type numbers. So we do really well with the companies that come into our cohort, support them through the program, not just in funding, but also pilots, et cetera. But if you do the math, about half of them mean half of the funding is raised in non-dilutive capital. So on the right-hand side, you'll see that there are a couple of entities there. We've actually had about 5 founders go through the Breakthrough Energy Fellowship. We've had 3 WIN fellowships through Activate and also other national labs. Next slide. I'm not seeing. Okay, great. Okay. So here is our core team. I'm Jenny, the second one there, but Jack Barron is our managing director. He himself is a serial entrepreneur, and his last exit was $2 billion in the climate tech space. He's also an angel investor, has a tech background, an MBA from Syracuse University, and lots of experience building climate tech companies. I myself am a two-time founder with one exit. I previously spent 2 years at Techstars running 5 different programs there. And my MBA, also I have an MBA, we have some MBAs in here, is from UCLA. So I physically sit in Los Angeles while most of the team sits in New York. So you get a little bit of the cross-country support here in terms of time zones. Devin is our operations manager. He has 8 years of experience building and running climate tech accelerator programs, including our predecessor to V4C, which is called Nexus New York, if you ever wanted to take a Google on that. He is currently finishing up his MBA at University of Rochester. Scott is our program manager, and I would also call him our hype man. He was an early hire at Dandelion Energy, which is a solar company. He also started a hub of the Sunrise Movement, which is a climate justice organization, and currently has had 3 years of experience running B4C curriculum. We also have Chris Carpenter. You may have seen some communication from him. He is our marketing community relations manager. He has 4 years of experience building brand around accelerators and our alumni, and 4 years managing communications and press at the House of Representatives Radio and TV Gallery. You also see Sharon and Daniel. There are EIRs, and they are fabulous with different backgrounds. I won't spend too much time more here, but all of the links under our names are LinkedIn links. So as we send this out to you after the fact, you can definitely take a look. If you would like to go to the next slide, please. Also want to introduce you our board members. We are very lucky to have such amazing folks here. We've got folks from Clean Energy Ventures, Earthshot Ventures, Aspen Technology, ex-managing directors. We've got Rob Clark from Breakthrough Energy Ventures. So lots of great company that we're part of that help support the program and our founders. Again, their names are also linked to their LinkedIn, so you can peruse at your leisure after this. Now on to key sectors for New York State. Again, we are a New York State program, and yes, go ahead and show them all up. NYSERDA is really interested in buildings, transportation, grid energy, and industry. And you can see the different percentages of emissions that they contribute to New York State. So that's why we're looking at these as our main categories. This does not mean we don't look at other categories, nor are the listed bullet points here exhaustive. So I will go through these really quickly so that you have an idea. But we're looking for solutions within building management systems, energy efficiency, cooling, electrification, insurtech, EV charging, micromobility, energy storage, fuel cells, freight, air transportation, storage as a transmission asset, smart energy management, distribution, energy generation, energy storage. In industry, it's actually called decarbonizing industries. So we're looking for those that are having solutions in perhaps green hydrogen, construction, waste management, supply chain management, heat energy recovery. Again, not exhaustive, but these are typically the companies that we have supported or have considered applicants into our cohort. So I think I will keep going and hold for any questions I will allow. Yep, thank you. Okay, part 2, we're going to talk about the accelerator now. So if you would move to the next slide. Just by way of highlights, again, 6-month program, it's virtual. We added high touch here because we are not one of those accelerators that just kind of breeze through curriculum, etc. We are very much hand holding you throughout many of your day-to-day problems. There's lots of coaching involved, there's lots of resources involved. So you can think of us as an extension of your team during this accelerator. We do split it into three phases, which I'll talk about in the next couple of slides. Again, up to $50,000 in non-dilutive funding throughout the program, which again, I'll talk about in the next few slides. We recruit globally with the New York State lens. And pre-seed and seed stage are ideal with a TRL sweet spot at levels 4 to 7. If my team can throw in the TRL levels into the chat, that would be great, just so that everyone understands what 4 to 7 is if you're not familiar yet. Incorporation or co-founders are not required for you to join our program. And the part-time commitment to our program is about 7 hours per week. All right. So I'm going to go into each of the three phases. In phase one, which is mid-May through end of July, 20 companies that are accepted to the program and have accepted to be in the program are each awarded $10,000 off the bat. It's non-dilutive grants. And during these couple of months, we are really honing in on some curriculum sessions in customer discovery, go-to-market plans, GHG impact analysis, and IP strategy. Not exhaustive of a list, but these are generally the core curriculum items that we have. We also do a mentor matching process in which we'll match you with many mentors in our network, and then you can build the relationships with them from there on. And then at the end of this phase one, we do what we call a market opportunity pitch, which I'll shorthand as MOP. This will be in front of our advisory board, so the folks that you saw a couple slides up. This is a requirement for you to advance to phase two. So in order to get to MOP, you do have to be approved to pitch during the MOP process, which will guide you throughout the program. And we work with you to get you ready for that. So no one has failed this part yet, so we don't expect this to be a hurdle for anyone. Next slide. Also, I just wanted to make sure that the TRL levels got dropped in the chat. I'm not sure if I saw that yet. All right, so phase two, early August to late September. Thank you very much for the TRL. Again, 4 to 7 is our sweet spot. Okay, so phase two, we're right after market opportunity pitch, you will get scored by our advisory board, and up to 20 companies are each awarded $10,000 to $50,000 depending on your scores. There is continued curriculum with a bigger focus on fundraising and sales. And then we do a showcase in real life at New York Climate Week. So you will fly out or drive over if you're in New York and come meet us there. And we'll do a live showcase with hundreds of investors and partners during New York Climate Week. It is our chance to meet each other, but it is also a very energetic week in climate. So that's why we also hold it during that time frame. Next. So phase three is late September to end of October. This is really kind of our ramp down period. So after you've completed the pitch at New York Climate Week, you're awarded another $10,000 in non-dilutive grants. There is post-graduation support, so we don't just drop off the face of the earth. And honestly, we are here all the time, even with our 4 cohorts of alumni. But this is dedicated support to you for continued investment or fundraising support and continued mentoring. So there is an additional pool of about $200,000 in non-dilutive grants that are available now to the entire cohort, and it will be further defined by NYSERDA how those are going to be distributed. Okay, next slide. We'll talk about a week at a glance at an average week. So again, we said 7 to 12 hours is pretty average on what our high touch learnings and support requires. So every week you'll have a stand-up or all hands with your core cohort. You'll do a CEO, CTO, CXO roundtable with said titles from the startups of the other startups that are in your cohort. Then you'll have 1 to 2 curriculum sessions, which are usually on Tuesday and Thursday. There are one-to-one coaching sessions with the V4C team, so with the managing director, with myself, and our EIRs. Then there are unlimited mentor meetings that are determined by you based on those mentor matching weeks that we put together for you and those relationships that you build from there on. Next. Okay. we'll talk through a little bit about our alumni now. So Anka is the founder of Holocene. They have a proprietary chemistry that removes carbon from the air. They've raised over $6 million now from Breakthrough Energy Fellowship, from Oak Ridge National Lab, and the DOE. They built a 1,000 ton year per year pilot facility and now have just signed on a 10 million contract with Google for an offtake agreement of 100,000 tons of carbon removed by early 2030. Next, we have Mars Materials. What they do is they convert CO2 and biomass into low carbon feedstock that can be used for materials such as 3D printing, filaments, and carbon fibers. Both founders are founders in Breakthrough Energy Fellowships. They've raised over $5 million and they opened a lab in Houston last year. There's a lot of other amazing accomplishments that are not public that we can't announce, but they are doing really well. And one thing about them is that their mission is to store a gigaton of carbon into everyday products. We also have Jeff from Volt Post. They've raised almost $5 million now and closing another $5 million round soon. Their pilot customer and first customer is deploying with the state of Michigan to start lamppost charging in Detroit. If you go across the next couple of slides, we have more alumni. I think I'll just skip these for you to review on your own and move into cohort 5, application and timeline. So here is a schedule of our timeline for the upcoming months. Our apps opened and now are closing on the 7th of next month. So just a little bit over a day and a month from now. And then from the February to April timeframe, we'll do 2 sets of reviews. We'll do early application interviews, and then we'll do applicant interviews post the deadline. So if you apply early, you can get in the first tranche of our interview process. And then from there, we have a boot camp. Our boot camp selections happen on the 14th of April, and the boot camp itself is over 4 days, that Monday through Thursday, and they're about 4 to 5 hours each day. I'll talk more about boot camp in a couple of slides. And then from there, if you make it past boot camp, we'll put you into a screening committee. That committee is across 2 days. You won't be there for the whole 2 days, just a couple of about 30 minutes or so for one of the days, and you'll meet with our board of advisors. You'll pitch and then you'll get scored by them. And then we'll have final cohort notifications on May 6th with asking you to respond whether or not you're accepting this cohort invitation by the 8th. And then we have a thing called MOU and ARL. MOU is just a memorandum of understanding about phase 1, which we talked about. Also, ARLs are due. ARLs is an adoption readiness level that NYSERDA is implementing to help us better understand where your gaps are in your business, in your technology, so that we can better help you get closer to commercialization as we go through the cohort. I think I'll ask the team to drop a link to the ARL definition and the scoring rubric so that you, if so, are interested, can take a look now and get prepared for that. And then program starts on Monday, May 19th, and the program ends during the week of 9/22 during the showcase at New York Climate Week. And then we go into the post ramp down after that. So this is the full list of things to look forward to if you're coming through the process with us. All right, next slide. So quickly about bootcamp, this is a intensive aimed to introduce teams to Venture for ClimateTech's ecosystem and offering a number of fundamental building blocks of our startup curriculum. We'll go through an overview, or actually NYSERDA will do an overview of themselves and the resources that they have for startups. We'll have some fireside chats with experienced founders and experts in the field. We'll do pitch deck preparation, impact metric and communication, and navigating funding sources. And next bullet. This is about 4 to 5 hours per day, and our goals here really are to provide value to our startups earlier on, even if you end up not becoming part of our cohort. It is something for folks that are in bootcamp to get connected, and also for us to connect our candidates to our community. And also, this is an assessment tool for us to understand your coachability and fit as we down select through the recruitment process. Next, please. Okay. A couple of things that applicants must have: a technology that has potential for substantial reduction in GHG emissions. Also, a team that is coachable, driven, and self-aware, and having a market and impact in New York State and a commitment to supporting and or benefiting New York's communities and larger climate tech ecosystem. Honestly, almost all technologies are qualified under this last bullet point. The only thing we would probably say that won't qualify are, tropical solutions for tropical environments. But that's probably about it. So um, I'll leave it there and we'll go to the next slide. Some keys to a strong application from what we've seen in the past. Be specific when outlining the impact that of your technology and the problem you're solving. Really give some examples. Hone in on how this can be applied to New York State. If you know different regions, that could be really helpful for this. That also very much helps. Strong understanding of your market and your customers. If you've done customer discovery already, we'd love to know who you've talked to, what you've learned, etc. If you have competitors, do share them. Competition can help validate the market, but also remember to tell us what makes your solution more special than the others. And then lastly, this is cliche, but be yourself. Experience is gained in many different ways, but we really care most about who you are as opposed to the technology that you're bringing in. Okay, next. Oh, that's about it. So if you scan below, or you can copy this link, the QR code goes to our application. It is on F6S. I'll give you all about 30 seconds to grab this if you'd like, or if the team can just drop the link in the chat, that would be ideal. And I think I have one more slide that I think I wanted to leave this on so that we can open it up for some Q&A, but also get to see some testimonies from our previous alumni. So if you go to the next slide. I won't read through these. You can look through it yourself. And again, the apply here QR code is there too if you didn't catch it on the last one. But I think we'll open it up to Q&A at this point. Are there any questions that have not been answered throughout the chat that we'd like to bring up? Scott and Devin, if you want to come back on cam.
Yeah, great job, Jenny. We had one just come in could you expand more on what it means to benefit New York State?
Yes. So it is a technology that has applicability within New York. So for example, the four industries that we typically invest in are the ones that are creating the most greenhouse gases for New York State. So that's what we mean. I want to double check if there's any other comments
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think, yeah. Go ahead, Dev.
I was just going to say, New York State is a big state. Anything that has a market fit that can be sold into New York State and then will have an impact on the state will provide benefit to the New York State. Because what NYSERDA is really looking for is things that will help them hit their climate goals over time. Startups do not need to be registered in New York. Frankly, we get international companies that are not licensed in the US at all. And companies don't have to be incorporated either.
Right. And then if you are an international company, we do help with not the visa process itself, but we will write you a letter for your visa application for when you want to come to New York State for the showcase.
And we've also supported founders in getting their visas to actually relocate to the US as well.
Right. Either we did a really good job on this,
Yeah, there was,
all the
yeah.
information that you could ever
Mhm.
need. And so I'm
There-
okay with us having a ton of questions here. Well, you want to leave it
Oh,
for 1 minute?
sorry, there's a question in the chat. So from Terry Kimmel, they are a Canadian clean tech company with technology that has multiple applications in New York State. Can they apply? And the answer is absolutely yes. Next question, have we had any European startups in the program in the past? Yes, we had a British company this year. We had a Spanish, a German, and an Israeli company that covered before. We had a Polish company that coworked before, and an Australian, which the time zones were fun with that one.
Mhm.
But we are very open to international companies.
And we have a great track record at just the timing of our curriculum sessions and the understanding and meeting everyone where they're at, time constraints aligned. We work with our teams very much so on that. Yeah, one thing I wanted to add, and I think you might have covered it, Jenny, but especially as and someone had asked about being a Canadian clean tech company, a European, and even in other states within the US, there's a pretty robust ecosystem within NYSERDA and a lot of offerings for New York State-based climate tech startups that they can access via NYSERDA if you're in New York State. One part about being in the program is that does open up your eligibility to make use of different programs throughout the NYSERDA ecosystem within New York State because you're a part of a NYSERDA funded program.
Right, even if you don't actually physically sit in New York or are registered in New York. So yes, we do unlock a lot of things for you here as being part of the program. Thank you for adding that. Well,
Another question from the Q&A. Beside presenting at New York City Climate Week, is there no need to be on site in New York? That is correct. That is the only physical in-person activity through the program. Everything else is virtual.
We've had teams come, especially with our Canadian neighbors, as in we're headquartered here in Rochester, New York. A lot of the Toronto-based or Canadian companies will come and take a look at our space here. We're part of a pretty robust ecosystem in downtown Rochester, and so we are always happy to host any teams who want to come visit us and show you around, as Jenny can vouch. We're quite happy about our little city of Rochester, and we love to show it off. But
they
yeah,
do, and they are the best hosts. I'm also throwing a Matterport link here so you can actually visually see the space of next quarter and where our teams sit out of. It's a wonderful, beautiful space. We're really used to these like quiet, quiet times. So, oh, thank you.
yeah. No, I did the same thing earlier where I shout out where are you calling in from, and I just sent it to you and Devin.
All right. Well, that was my count of 10 seconds. We will end the recording here. We hope to see you apply to our program. We do also have two other info sessions, the next one with our alumni and the last one, which is general Q&A. So if you want to come back, hang out with us then, feel free to. We'd love to have you. Other than that, we will sign off now and have an amazing day.